Takže krásný dobrý den všem. Dneska jsme tu u velmi, ale velmi speciální epizody. Je to takový velký test, jak pro mě, tak pro celý publikum naše, taky trošku pro Alexe. A zkusíme tady udělat anglickou epizodu dedicated podcastu. A Alexa mi tak divně kouká, tak já už musím přeskočit do angličtiny. All right, everybody. Please welcome to a very first episode in English of dedicated podcast. A very warm welcome to my first English speaking guest. I'm mixing the Swedish already. A former Endre IF coach, årets tränare 2021, meaning coach of the year in 2021 when you were in EBC Commerson, right? Current coach, assistant coach in Finnish women national team, and clubchef, club director in Täby FC. Thank you for your time ahead, Alex.
Thank you for welcoming me. Really nice to be here.
Really cool. Alex is, for the moment, the right person, I would say, to ask about, first and foremost, yesterday's game. Sweden, Finland. Group game. Everything is about the World Championship for the moment. So what would you say about that? Was it a surprise for you? Was it not? I think for the majority of people, it was a surprise. You have seen at least parts of the game. So what do you consider the key factors?
First of all, I would absolutely say it was a surprise for me. Sweden have been so good for a few years now, dominating many of the games, even if it was a loss in the last EFT against Finland. But yesterday, of course, wasn't as Sweden expected, and Finland, for the first time, at least when I've seen them, played on a much higher level than, since probably the Helsinki World Championship or something. So it was well controlled by them. The way of their possession and the technical and tactical quality, I would say, was big reasons, and probably some frustration and lack of focus from the Swedish team also.
Right. Yeah, the focus was definitely on the side of Finland in that game. That's for sure. But huge surprise for me either. Deciding were power plays, you can say, in a way. Sweden was not scoring the ones they got. And what about individual performances? Have you seen any players standing out on one or either side?
Yeah, I would say many players in Finland did really good. Many of the defenders did really good, and being able to control the game with the ball. Of course, it's in some ways, let's say, a Finnish way of playing floorball, and it's also a way that you probably need to play against an aggressive, offensive Swedish team. But it's easy to say before, but it's not that easy when Zacharias Ulriksson is running against you, or Albin Sjögren is running against you, or Robin Nilsbert is really tough in the pockets with tackling and so on. But they stood up so good in the physical game, controlling the ball. I like when I see players with, let's say, pride, really need to, or really want to protect the ball when you have it, and not just give it away. And it felt so focused and so well done from many of the Finnish defenders, I would say, especially. And then, of course, the shots from Sami Johansson, Jonar Antala,
there is a class.
Yeah, that's class. And in the same time, probably comparable players in Sweden. Albin Sjögren missed a few chances that could have been goals. So it's small margins, but well-deserved win, I would say, for Finland.
Definitely. We spoke about earlier on a little bit, we touched on the quality of centers on the side of Finland. What do you think about that? Is it really one step ahead for Finland when it comes to centers?
Yeah, for me, it's the only position where Finland is probably not by far, but they are clearly better than Sweden, and I would say clearly best in the world. I have some favorite centers in the Czech team also, personally, but the Finnish centers with Salo as some kind of leader of the team, and then Kainulainen, of course, high level, and then point in power play, Joona Rantala standing there, and like the goal he scored yesterday is a really nice shot, and he's done the same in the club in Champions League and so on. So the level of the centers in Finland is probably the only position I can say that they are, at least better than the other teams, and I think actually clearly better than Sweden, especially yesterday.
Right. How about goalkeepers? I mean, I have to say for myself, I was surprised with the performance of Finnish goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, both of the teams have good goalkeepers from the start, and we know it. Feldén in Finland is. I haven't played against him or seen him live in that way, but he feels so calm and like big. It's hard to see net when you're playing against him.
I mean, impressed with Feldén. I mean, especially like the power plays.
Yeah,
he was reading the game quite well, and like really a class. Because before the tournament, I was seeing it as a little bit of a weakness of Finland. I think Czechia, they have really good two goalkeepers for the moment. One young, one experienced, both top level. Sweden, I mean, top level two goalkeepers. But yesterday it was Feldén's game.
Yeah, absolutely. And even probably some of the goals for Finland, even if Rantala's shot in power play is really good, I still think that Jon Hedlund would like to have it back in some way, because it's like clear sight and
even though it's a super crisp set.
Yeah, I mean, it's
super.
The shot
top
is
scorer.
Yeah, the shot. It's some Swedish English. But it was a good shot in the top corner. But still, if you want to win that kind of game, and if you're missing that kind of chances that Sweden missed, even if it wasn't like 10 of them, but a few of them, then you also need some extra saves from your goalkeeper, and probably that wasn't the day for Jon Hedlund yesterday, but we all know what he can do in the upcoming games. Yeah.
Right, that's right. But you are one of the best person to ask about this, mental game between Sweden and Finland. So what do you think it's like? What was happening in between of the periods in the Swedish locker room? Or like maybe if you can take it even further, what's happening before the game when you come into a group game with Finland? I mean, Sweden never wanna lose to Finland, so it's quite hard to believe there was a lack of focus. And I mean, I don't know if it was a big thing to face Czechia in semi-final or not, if it's even something to consider before the game for them, or if they just go to win against Finland no matter what. What do you think they were thinking, and what do you think they were doing as a reaction in the period pauses?
Before the game, I think the level of the game and to play against Finland makes it absolutely 100% focus before. So it's nothing about like not playing on the highest level by purpose. And then I would also say that many of the coaches and the players and the teams right now are feeling a big difference between Switzerland and Czechia. So I would also guess that they really want to prepare for a game against Switzerland or Latvia, if we should be honest.
That's right.
So it was I would say it was a really important game yesterday, and probably in one way it's probably even more important for Finland when it comes to the semifinals, because usually it's Sweden have been during many tournaments, at least probably especially on the women's side where I am, but it's been easier for Sweden sometimes to probably not rest, but being ready for the final after like half game or two periods a little bit more in the semifinals, and starting to prepare for the final already.
It's crazy to be thinking of saving power in semifinals.
Yeah,
but I'm with you.
And this time it can be the time for Finland to do it, either if they play Switzerland or if they actually play Latvia, which I see as like 60-40 probably for Switzerland.
Nice.
So let's see, but I think it was an important game before. It's been It's been quite like much talk about this game from the start when we got the draws and we knew the groups. It was like this Tuesday was in some way the day for the tournament to start for Sweden, and also with the spectators. And one thing is to try to start the tournament like in the first weekend, and you try to get people there and so on. But it's tough concurrence in getting spectators to any event, which has been quite clear. And then for this Tuesday, I think it was a little bit of the like the local audience of Malmö, and the sponsors and the like company invites and this kind of audience for a weekly day. So in many ways, I think it was an important and a big game for Sweden before the game. And I would guess, if you also look at the way how they handled the game along the way, that it was a big frustration, actually.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, especially after the third goal, or especially after the power play until a goal, I would say.
Yeah, and then I was a little, a really small part, but still a small part of the Swedish team in Helsinki 2021. And then we also played almost like the same schedule, I think. We played against Finland Monday or Tuesday the same week as the final and lost 8-3. And I wouldn't say that...
Bro said it in the interview.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that we panicked, but it was really frustrating then to lose the game. And we were searching so hard to find the ways of how to win the game. And the crazy thing is, actually, when I look at this game, it feels like it's... I think we came down to two main topics before the final against Finland, at least from our... Let's say I was the part of a scouting team. So in our... I don't know exactly what they said in the team, like before the game, and how they handled it and what the players thought. But we said two things. And one thing was about the box play and defensive special teams, because we felt that Finland was so much better in special teams in the group stage then, and it's quite the same here. And then it was one thing that Finland did really well yesterday, and they usually do, and Czechia is probably the same, actually, if we look forward to the semifinals also, and that's to win the inside and to keep the opponents on the outside all the time. And in this kind of games, it feels like Sweden are allowing Finland to win the inside a little bit too much, especially in Sweden's offense. So it's a little bit too much on the outside, too few central runs. It was a little bit of the difference, like the first shifts when they played Sankell and Haglund together in the third period, but still they need Emil Johansson, Tobias Gustafsson, Johan Samuelsson, these kind of players to run central from the own half. And then, of course, players like Zacharias Ulriksson, for example, he needs to find the inside in some way.
Challenge the box.
Challenge the box, exactly.
And I mean, speaking of this terminology, I think Finland definitely won the inside yesterday.
Yeah, and they are strong there. And they absolutely did 2021 also. In the final, then, I think that Sweden did it a little bit better. Actually, one of the goals, I think it was Ludvig Persson scored one goal in the final, was a really well central run from Tobias Gustafsson. That's like scouting. I really remember it as a scout, because we talked about it so much. Yeah, we'll see. It will be tight games all the way now. But yeah, great performance of the Finnish team yesterday.
Agreed. I have to go back a little bit to the spectators topic. I'm really happy you mentioned it yourself, and I do think it's quite crazy that you say that it's tournament starting for Sweden on Tuesday. Like, when you say it like that, it sounds crazy. Like, for me, being a Czech person, and I know how we handle events, and if we would play Thailand on Saturday, it would be a full arena, because the tournament is starting just there, because it's a game number one. I don't want to compare it to ice hockey. That's different, but there's going to be full arena if we play Great Britain on Saturday, but that's maybe not comparable. But we would fill it up for the home team, even for the lower placed teams. It was okay, I would say, against Slovakia on Saturday, but then we are speaking still Swedish games. But why there is no one attracted to come to watch? I mean, at least the top 4 games, once like the big players are playing, or I mean, just the interest in the World Championship is not big enough, I would say.
No, it's a tough question, and it's a question also for the league in Sweden. I don't know exactly the status of the league in Czechia, for example. Of course, this is a challenge for floorball overall, I would say. But in Sweden, I still think that floorball is such like a game that you play so much more than you're looking at it, and the interest in that kind of way is like non-commercial, or I don't know how to describe it, but it's after football, it's the number 2 sport in Sweden to play. It's over 100,000 players. I think it's like 125,000 right now. But it's still like the same amount of spectators in a youth game, like a children's game, as in the second highest league for many teams. And in this case, I would say with the World Championship, I know the Swedish Federation, the marketing people, the event manager for the championship. I know that they are doing a really hard like job, and they are doing a in many ways good job. They have like great partners trying to do good. Like they're in commercials with big companies, and they're trying to do it really good. But I think that some different things, some things makes it hard here, and probably one thing is, I mean, this region of Sweden where Malmö is, it's called Skåne, and they also did a really good, like a big job to make this a big thing during the last 2 years. But still, I think they are doing most of the work to get people there for the Swedish games, and that's like, you need to do that kind of work just to get them there. And if you have them there for 3 or 4 hours, it's like almost an overload already. And then like the interest for just floorball as a sport, as a spectator, is not really there, I would say. It's not even, I don't think it matters too much if it's Switzerland or Thailand playing, actually.
Or Thailand, Slovenia.
No, also I would say it's more like the Women's World Championship in Uppsala. Like, if I think it was 2021 also. Then it was even, I think, many immigrants from Thailand taking part in the Swedish what do you say, like, crowd. They were sharing a lot. And I would say this kinds of groups in Sweden, like immigrant group from some part sharing for one team, especially like some probably Asian team, or people with siblings from Thailand or Philippines or whatever, that could be a bigger event than like a top 4 country. I don't think it matters too much if Czechia or Finland or Switzerland is actually playing. I don't even think it's almost not a thing here.
Right.
Just a sec. But I would say the work is in many ways actually getting done, but then of course one big thing for me, and I guess they're already doing it, but one big thing is the games during daytime, weekly days. There must be a possibility to at least have school students there, so you don't have like 150 on the stands in Malmö Arena. You can at least have, I don't know, 3,000-4,000.
And I mean, it's not boring, you know. It's like I try to watch even some of the lower games. I mean, not like that I will be watching, but I try to watch the endings of the games. And I mean, there were 59 goals, you know, and like crazy emotions, like a lot more emotions than in like in the A group, B group games, because there they consider it group game. In the second half, they're playing for everything.
Yeah,
they want to qualify for the main tournament so much. So it's big. And I mean, even though you are a player of boys 15, you know, in Malmo, I think it's worth of just going to watch the World Championship. I mean, in any other sports, it would be a little bit of a thing to go and watch the best of the best, if you say so. Even though they are much lower level when it comes to football development, it's still, I mean, the main tournament.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to understand why there are like not even the students are not there. But just spinning a bit back to Skåne as a region, would it make any difference? Because I know that Skåne, where Malmo lies, is more known for handball.
Yeah.
Right, and it's closer to Denmark, so it really works well with the handball there overall. There was or there will be a handball European Cup or World Cup. I'm not certain.
That's not my sport.
Then
so
we are speaking full arena.
Absolute.
100%. So that's another story. But
it's actually the same. Like, it was a qualifying game in Stockholm 2 weeks ago in basketball in an arena in Stockholm for 9,000 people, and it was full for a qualifying game in basketball against Germany.
Swedish national team.
Yeah.
No.
And yeah, it's a totally other culture, and I don't really know how to get there, but we are absolutely not there.
No.
But then also another thing, if we don't compare it to other sports, it's also, I would say, an economy related priority thing right now also. With I can just talk for myself. I will go to the World Championship one weekend, and for me it's an easy choice to go there the final weekend.
I mean, for me it's the same.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how much it costs, but let's say it ends up with tickets and traveling and hotel and everything. It's like 1,000 euros to go there for one weekend. And if you want to go there,
but it would, I mean, if I would suggest you that we go there for 5 days, it would not be a matter of money. It's more about missing time here, I would say, and like organizing everything so you can actually be in the VM or in the World Championship.
Yeah, but probably we are not representatives. No, we cannot. No, we're not. It's like for just common people to go to Malmö to look at the World Championships. I would say it's just for the final weekend, and then you need to fill the arena up with people from the area almost during 1 week before, and then I think it's hard enough to do it with for the Swedish games.
But anyway, I mean, now I'm gonna use as an example Prague World Championship in ice hockey, which is crazy to compare to, because I do believe that Prague is one of the best places to host World Championship in ice hockey. Everybody likes to go there. I mean, all the Scandinavian nations, they love to go to Prague for a couple of days. If they catch one game or 2 games, just to spend 3 nights there, they will have fun.
Yeah.
So how fun?
And there's also another part of the year.
Yeah, that's right.
I would say that's also actually a thing.
It plays a role.
Because it's it's a big difference, and I don't know if it's a bigger difference in Sweden or some other country, but December is absolutely not the month to do it.
To travel.
Yeah. To travel overall, if we go look at like the weather, the climate, the mental states, the planning for Christmas, the economy, it's bad in so many ways, I would say.
But still, I mean, it's close to Copenhagen. You fly in easy. I mean, to Copenhagen, that's not a hard thing to do. You can spend the time in between in Malmö or in Copenhagen. So I don't really think it's a bad thing. I mean, kind of a trip to go for 3 days or something, and spend some time in Copenhagen, explore Copenhagen, and catch 2 games. So.
No, I agree. I will go there, but I think many of the people who are going there will do it during the final weekend. It's
in and out.
Yeah, and like the tourists in Malmö, or Copenhagen will come the final weekend. It's only like the real
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday probably. Yeah,
At the max.
it's Swedish quarterfinal. But still, even there, it's just
For the big games.
yeah. So the quarterfinals, I wouldn't even say it's a thing, because everyone is waiting for the
Getting there,
semifinal.
do you think or do you believe it's going to be a thing somewhere in the future? I mean, you mentioned that you believe that Latvia can make a game against Switzerland. One in how many times, or like do you see anyone closer a bit?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think that Sweden is the country to host it for a long time with that kind of interest. And I can't talk for every country, but I believe that the interest of like professional floorball or national team floorball, I guess is higher in all of the other big countries actually. And
You think there will be more people if Germany hosts it?
I don't know. I know floorball, they're too bad, but probably in some way it could be. Yeah, I don't know if they have like the power to do it, but then at least you get some kind of I don't know if it's the right word, but exotic feeling, or at least as something new or something. But of course that probably doesn't make people pay 1,000 euros to go one weekend to look at some sport they don't really know. So probably it's tough. But I've been in a few tournaments, and I would say that Helsinki, absolutely big difference. 2017 for the women's, I think Bratislava was quite a good tournament, even if the numbers are a little bit lower on the women's side. But yeah, some of the games were really good there, and yeah, it's also a little bit when you have it in the best countries. So many like if the tournament is in Sweden, it's so many countries that are quality-wise so far from Swedish level. So that probably also make a little bit of a difference. If you have a tournament in Slovakia or Latvia or something, then you have like 5 teams behind that are kind of close. And then you have some teams which are interesting because you can almost win against them. And then you have the good teams that you want to know because you just know them from...
You just want to watch them.
Yeah, you just want to watch them. So in that case, I would say it's better to host or to have the event in a country between, I don't know, position 3 and 8, at least theoretically. And then I don't know about the country's federations and so on, but I think that's also make a big difference.
But for the bottom teams, for the second half teams, it's even bigger of a surprise. People are not coming in like in Sweden where floorball is big.
Yeah.
So I don't think I do think that it's even harder for them to believe that here are people not interested to come to watch it.
And I don't want to defend it because I don't like it, but I would say it's more of a cultural thing how floorball is probably managed and seen in Sweden. It's a game you play, not a game you look at. And we're working on it, but it's still baby steps.
I have great memories of full arenas when it comes to playoffs in SSL. So
yeah, absolutely.
I will keep those, but the national level is just making me worry really about the overall interest.
Yeah, I can agree on that, and I have the same feeling. The clubs are doing a really good work, even if it's also hard in the playoffs when it's like on the men's side, best of 7. Usually, like game number 1, 2, 3, it's not that filled up. I don't know if it is in the other countries either, but then of course, if like when you went to the finals the year after I was in Kalmarsund, you went to the finals with Kalmarsund in Game 7 in Växjö. I think that was kind of a full arena with some good memories.
That was the best floorball experience. I mean, for the moment you can have. I mean, of course you can win a full arena, so World Championship final. But when it comes to club scene, then winning Game 7 in like 1400 arena. That was amazing. But we can close the chapter of spectators. We just hope for better tomorrows, but it's not good for the moment. And I'm not sure if any of the second half teams can host it and be better in the attendance. So we will see what the hopefully new coming IFF president will do about it.
Yeah, probably combine the arrangement sometime could be one thing also. So
But it was not so successful when it comes to ice hockey, if you remember.
No,
like this Sweden-Finland ice hockey championship was the worst.
Okay, yeah.
It was like, it was like this, that final was 1 year in Finland and then the other year was Helsinki-Stockholm. Combined for 2 years agreement, but final in Helsinki 1 year and then the other way around. Not good.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, they do it now, they do it a lot in handball as well. They do it in, it's going to be in football. It's also going to be Mexico and US. And even, I mean, you can do US World Championship 100%. And even though it's combined with Mexico. Yeah. So they do these kind of combinations in all sports, all over the place. But I think our 2 arenas for our World Championship is not that huge of a, thing that you would have to spread it out.
No.
It's 2 good arenas. And I mean, in Czech, it's going to be Brno and Ostrava. Turning it into the, what are you doing, next to being a club president, being assistant coach in Finnish national team. That's interesting. I mean, it's very interesting to be, as a Swede, assisting or coaching Finnish team. So how are your impressions about that so far? And how are you looking forward to World Championship in Brno, Ostrava next year?
First of all, it's an honor and it's really fun to be in the team. A friend of mine, you can say, Andreas Harnesk, is the national team coach. And when he went there, he talked to his boss, Patrick Kettunen, that he wanted 1 Swede with him. So and he asked me. So it's a real honor, and I like to be there. It's been a great experience so far. A team that I started to love, I would say, and so many good players, and also players who are willing to develop and work hard, because of course it's still a way to go to be in the top spot. But it's nice, and it's, of course, as you say, it's a little bit special with the language. Finnish is actually a really tough language, and at least for us in Sweden, I think for most of the people, Finnish is not like easy to even guess. But so we're struggling sometimes, but we're working mostly in English, and then we have many players playing in Sweden or knowing Swedish from younger years, and they're also studying it in Finland, so it works quite good. We're the first coaches in the Finnish national team from abroad. So it's also in that way an honor, and also interesting to see what happens, and probably even for them to see how it turns out.
How do you feel about the Finnish mentality compared to the Swedish one? I mean, you have spent, 2-3 events already?
Yeah, we had 1 summer camp, and then what we call Finnkampen, like Sweden-Finland games, in Luleå in Sweden, and then we were in Karlovy Vary in Czech on EFT. It was that was also an experience.
Yeah, we're getting there.
But yeah, it's been really nice so far, and according to the World Championship that is in front of us, first of all, of course, we should qualify. So we're going to Latvia in January, February, but I have high expectations on us in the qualifier. I think that we can actually manage to qualify for the championship.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to it so much. Next year is really special with this week in Valmiera. We have in Latvia we have EFT in the summer for the
And World Games, right?
and then World Games in China in August. So
You already qualified for that.
yeah, I guess so. They're telling me to
No,
to do the
based
camp.
on last World Championship.
Yeah, exactly. And
So it was mentioned by one of the commentators that like top 5, like 5th place.
yeah,
Means that you are 5th place on this tournament qualifies you for Chengdu.
yeah, Chengdu exactly. They said to us it's just a small town in China, only 14 billion people. So
Yeah. Cool, but what are the goals with Finnish national team?
it's kind of easy. We want to win the tournaments we are in. So yeah, of course, the main goal, it's hard to say anything else than the World Championships in Brno Ostrava. And then we actually have on our home World Championships 2027. So that's also a long-term goal. And we think that a good step on the way to win those gold medals is also to win the World Games, of course. So we are trying to...
Is it any, bigger or smaller chance of winning World Games compared to World Championship?
I don't know, but usually...
It's less players, right?
Yeah, exactly. We will go with 12 players, two goalkeepers, and it's a little bit shorter games and so on. So usually in both the men's and women's side, it's when you talk about Sweden, it's that they have so many players that are on an equal level. And of course, our top players and Sweden's top players or Czechia top players are on quite the same level. So probably that can make some kind of advance for us, that we don't need...
I believe so. I mean, when you say Sweden on 3 lines and you on 3 lines, or this is...
Yeah, it's probably a big difference than in 2 lines.
No.
So we'll see. But we are also in the same time trying to prepare for winning the ordinary games in the World Championship. So for me, there are some circumstances in every game, up to like game time, amount of players, where we play, how we live, how we eat, whatever, and we need to find a way of winning no matter what. But of course, China is it will be really interesting, actually.
Even more interesting than Karlovy Vary?
I guess so.
How was Karlovy Vary?
Yeah, if we start with like Chengdu and China and the province which is named Sichuan, many people probably know them for their kitchen, and I've been eating so much Sichuan food in Sweden. I guess it will be better there in Chengdu. So I have high hope for the food there. Probably a little bit higher hope than the result was in Karlovy Vary. It was I can't say actually that it was the worst I had in the national team camp, because we were
to it.
Yeah, I was with under 23 national team in Sweden.
Yeah.
We had many of the players right now in
Latvia, right?
In Latvia, in Valmiera, where we are going for the qualifiers now. That was even worse. That was absolutely...
Speaking of meals on the hotel.
Now I just talk about the food. It was the worst, let's say, food I ever seen. It was actually crazy. So we're joking about it, and the players who are in the team now, like Linus Malmström, Oskar Weissbach, even a former player for me and for you in Kalmarsund, Albin Hedstål, he took part, and we're joking about it every time when some of us go to a national team camp somewhere in Europe. We're like sending pictures of the food to each other. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's going all into... I was just yesterday posting on dedicated account this, Nils Bert interview, legendary from Finland.
Yeah.
Dåligt mat, dåligt kaffe.
Yeah.
Bad meal. I mean, bad meal, bad coffee. I want to go home.
Yeah. Actually, in that tournament, I know that now, of course, I love the Finnish food. The Finnish hotels, the Finnish beer. It's perfect. It's a fantastic country.
Not much of complaint now.
Oh, no, it's really good. But in that tournament, I remember some of the players, let's not name them here, but some of the players, they weren't eating the food in the hotel and the restaurants for the whole tournament. They had this, I think in Czech you have Volt or...
Yeah.
And they had Foodora, which was used in Helsinki, I think.
To deliver kebab every day.
They had kebab every day. Some of the players. So
what was the problem? I was like, was it no buffet also?
I don't know what the players had, because our scouting team, we didn't live with them and had the food with them. It was still some COVID perspective, I think.
It was in Helsinki. Oh yeah.
But so we had 10. The scouting team had 10 burgers, burger meals during the third tournament. So we played safe, actually, really safe, and one ramen. That was like the menu for the tournament. So, but I don't know what the problem was. Probably they're just mentally weak with food in some way.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, how you really judge. But I mean, Valmiera, I remember even Philip said it was really something. So but I can imagine that Swedes are not happy with the food abroad overall, because the quality of food here is just much higher than, I mean, the average level is just higher than in Czechia or Latvia, I can imagine. But Finland is a surprise for me. I mean, I've been to Helsinki a couple of times and I never had like a bad experience with food, but it can be just a coincidence.
Yeah, me neither. And then I don't know if it was fixed by Finland. National team was
a bit harder tournament.
Yeah,
it's how it felt for Robin, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Is it anything more you wanna say about the Finnish national team? Like share some fun experience, or how is it to work with Andreas Harnesk?
Yeah, if we start with the last question, it's fantastic. I knew him, of course, as a friend. We had contact many years. We've been in SSL in different clubs all the time, but still like in contact for, I don't know, 10 years or something. And we got to know each other more outside of the court, or probably on the court, but in different teams. But this is the first time I worked with him. I had high expectations, but he's so much better as a coach than I could even imagine. He's in all parts also. I think many people look at him as a typical, I don't know, floorball nerd in some way. He's really into like development of players and yeah, exactly. But when we talk about like leadership, the pedagogical part, and yeah, he's really good in all of it. And also, actually, we are 3 coaches. So Jukka Ruotsalainen, who is a coach in Floorball Turgau in Switzerland, he's also an assistant coach. So we are 3, and he's also is so important for the coaching staff, together with all of the other people, of course, but especially we are 3 coaches. So Jukka is also great to work with. And then like it's happening small fun things all the time in a team like that, and the players are so happy to meet each other when you meet up with the national team. So it's fun almost all the time. We have one player playing in Malmö in Sweden, Jamo Njai, which is a player both me and Andreas knows from Sweden since many years. She's even been in Täby like 11-12 years ago. And she is such an energy person who is giving so much to the team. So she has been really important in the start with like the climate in the group. And then of course we have some big leaders with Jenna Sario, Vera Kauppi, Ona Kauppi, and it's hard to start to say names because then you forget someone. But it's a really nice team, and many nice people to work with. So we have fun almost all the time.
All right. Now it's going to be super interesting to follow, that's for sure. My last topic here is Czech Floorball or Czech men's national team overall. I mean, you can definitely mention the women one as well, of course. But what is your overall impression of Czech Floorball? How do you, how do you see Czech Floorball development in last years, or how do you see the players? What are your favorite players? And if you see like, if it's gonna be, VM goal chicken, what are you gonna think in your head if that happens?